My name is Glenn Piercy, and I made this film in 1968-69 while my wife Susan and I were working with the Southwest Georgia Project, part of the Civil Rights Movement. At the time, I had a lot of experience as a still photographer, but none as a filmmaker. And this film has many shortcomings born of that inexperience. Thus this commentary, written and recorded 43 years after the film was made.
I was on my way to come home. Me and him was getting grocery. When I walked out, the fight was going on. And there's gathering up so many guns and things, you know.
The film opens with an eyewitness account of the murder of a black man, Junior Nelson, by a white man. I went back and photographed the location where the murder took place.
But I did see the gun up in there, keeping the people away from this dead boy.
You saw that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh.
I really saw it. Yeah, I heard the shooting. I sure heard it. But now to see him shoot him, I just thought it was somebody, since all that was going on, somebody that shot a ball, you know, and scattered the people and stopped the fuss. I didn't know nobody was shot until I heard the people making alarm about none shot Junior Nelson, none shot Junior Nelson.
I then filmed Junior Nelson's funeral. Such racial murders were common during this period, and the perpetrators almost always went unpunished. Junior Nelson's murderer was never brought to justice.
The white man who murdered Junior Nelson is still free. 1,000 white men who murdered 1,000 black men are still free. But that's the nature of Southwest Georgia. That's the nature of the South. In Southwest Georgia, we walk with death daily, every day.
How can you expect a little boy like this to come up knowing about what happened to his father without hating white people? We don't have to teach a young boy like this to hate, but from the early days of his life until the day he dies, if our country remains the same, he will be constantly bombarded by a racist society, by hatred, by discrimination, by all that's evil. He's been taught that black...
One of the things the film lacks is subtitles to identify people, so I've added them for this edition.
But the Southwest Georgia Project is attempting to throw out these indoctrination.
Charles Sherrod was the first field secretary for SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, one of the primary organizations of the Civil Rights Movement.
And he believes that now. We are teaching him to love, but not to love and forget.
SNCC sent Sherrod to Albany, Georgia in 1961 to start the Southwest Georgia Project. Half a century later, he is still the project's leader.
To get such a commitment in life, a commitment to go on, despite the fact that we are like people who've been sent into a jungle of racism. The lion of racism come to us to devour our flesh. And we have nothing but our bare hands to subdue this racist lion of our society. But that's what we plan to do. Whatever's necessary, we plan to subdue this lion, this racism, this evil.
My name is Charles Sherrod, and I've been in Southwest Georgia since 1961. Southwest Georgia, the development of Southwest Georgia is akin to the development of my innermost self. For somewhere along the way I have put my blood, and I have put my soul into its work and development. People who live in Southwest Georgia are mostly farmers. Men who have farmed all their lives, know nothing but farming. Land is the source of power, the source of all power, the source of life. And with land, a man holds in his hand the mechanism to control his destiny. If a people is going to rise, it must have land. And so we're trying to get a 4,800 acre plot of land in Lee County. We have a network of sowing bees, you might say. They're really groups of old women, middle-aged women, getting together and making blankets, quilts, and dresses and so forth. In many cases, the women have not accepted monies which they make from the quilts as their personal income, but have pooled the funds and used them to further community development. We hope that one day that this would lead to a sewing factory, a central sewing factory, around which we will build a large number of chain factories, you may say, in different counties. In politics, we've had several people to run for office in South Georgia. We've never won. In another sense, we've never lost. Because the people who are trodden underfoot, any attempt to get from under the foot of this white man, this white racist in Southwest Georgia, is a success, believe me.
Now you and I, as white citizens and believers in the Christian religion.
The Civil Rights and Voting Rights Acts had been passed into law in the mid-60s, and black citizens were just beginning to register to vote and to run for office in a political system that had long kept them disenfranchised.
From any of the atheist so-called ministers of the nigger race.
White resistance was still strong, with the threat of violence backing it up. So it took courage to be a candidate, even for an office like coroner.
I ran for coroner, ran against a white man there in Clay County, and I did, I think, right well for the first kickoff. That's the first time a black person have ever ran in Clay County since Reconstruction Day, and we ran a good race. I think the white guy beat me about 200 votes. And, I think that's excellent for the first time, and that's why that we attempt to run for coroner. We figured that we could get enough black people registered a Negro could win. And then we ain't finished. We gonna run a Negro in every election that come up in Clay County from now on.
I woke up this morning in my mind. It was stay on freedom. I woke up this morning in my mind. Stay on freedom. Woke up this morning in my mind.
I'm the mother of 9 kids. My children have been going to school ever since '65.
The Supreme Court had ordered the desegregation of public schools nationwide in its Brown versus Board of Education decision in 1954.
Until the day that they picked up my children.
14 years later, that order was still being resisted. And black children brave enough to defy that resistance were often subject to abuse by both white children and school authorities.
So they start picking at them, picking at those 2 children. So on the day of November the 4th, that when my 2 children was picked up, they was picked up from the schoolhouse. They took the children about 30 miles from home and didn't even tell us nothing to about it, and didn't even come by and let us know, just like it was kidnapping my children.
Ida Mae Young's children were taken out of school and put into a detention facility without the knowledge or consent of their parents.
So I said, Lord, what can I do, Jesus? So the only way that we could tell where our children, that we had to make a telephone call to Washington, D.C., to HEW. Because it was so hurting to me that my children was taken out the home and crammed into a detention home for no reason in the world. And the white children were going free. Ain't missed a day out of school. Not done nothing, nobody but the black children. I just kept going and going and going, and I'm still going, and I'm not going to turn around. I'm going to continue to go on. I'm going to continue to send my children on to school so that they will be able to have the education that I think that they need to have. But this is one reason why that I really know that my children was picked up, see, because I'm the civil rights worker. I've been working in civil rights for a long time, 5 long years. And it brought about a lot of enemies after I was doing this. Because there was time that we'd be going to the poll and the white people would be rolling their eyes at me because I was bringing in so many carload of people to vote, you know. And they was knowing that they wasn't voting for their man, you know. And so they would be rolling their eyes at me. But this is the way that they thought maybe that they could do to stop me. But I won't be stopped. See, I'm going to continue and continue and continue. So they better get the detention homes ready and everything else, because I'm going to certainly get myself ready for them. And this is just the way I'm going to do that thing. They doing their thing, and I'm going to do my thing. We want justice, Lord, come by here. We want justice, Lord, come by here. We want justice, Lord, come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. We all need you, Lord, come by here.
It was around the late 1964 that black folks really started sitting down and you know, began talking and thinking about what they really wanted. Because, you know, by then you had the hamburger stands and the movie theaters and the restaurants, you know, and that kind of stuff, and the motel. It was about 64 that the emphasis started to be put on black and proud, that it weren't so much of being able to mix up with white folk. That was a thing, but it was what you thought of yourself. It was how you looked at yourself. The freedom didn't depend totally upon how much money you made. That money and cars and houses and association was comfort. That it was comfortable to be able to go sit down in a restaurant and eat a hamburger or some dinner and not have somebody throw coffee on you. That it was comfortable to be able to afford that. But that if you went in there and nobody threw coffee on you and you was nervous, that that you had to hang up. Because you should have went in there and got your hamburger and your coffee and said, the hell with them folks, they throw some coffee on me, I'm going to throw something back on them. Or hit them upside the head with this damn chair I'm sitting in.
You can't, I don't feel like that you can tell me to love everybody and that I'm the only one loving myself. That everybody isn't showing an interest in my love. I think that what younger folks say is that, young black folks say is that the time has come now that we talk about blackness and only blackness. That everything we talk about it as being related to a black person in this country and the world, and how it's been related to them before and how you change that now.
So now the thing that we have to do is that we have to, get control of ourselves. That we have to, become a black unit.
We gonna march till we tear your kingdom down. We gonna march till we tear your kingdom down. It ain't no use to you hanging around. You might as well put your shotgun down. And we gonna march till we tear your kingdom down. We gonna work until we tear your kingdom down.
The question is asked relative to racism in the law. And certainly I think that my response to it is that it's very obvious that there is racism rampant or rife, not only on the state level, but the local level as well. It pervades the whole of the state of Georgia and the region hereabout. What I'm saying in another way is that the people who are responsible for the promulgation of the laws unconscionably participate or indulge themselves in the creation of laws that are calculated to serve those who have power. This, of course, means the whites in the state. It also is evident, that is, in terms of racism, in how the law is interpreted. The judges interpret the law in such a way as to serve the ends which are certainly antagonistic to those of blacks. One of the great deprivations experienced by black people in the region hereabout is a scarcity of black lawyers. Take myself, for instance. I am the only black attorney within a radius of over 100 miles. And of course, this means that the interest of many black clients go wanting at the hands of white attorneys or no attorneys at all. I see my role as a lawyer that of carrying on this war of attrition. This is to say that it's my commitment to do everything I can to alter fulfillment of what apparently is the purpose of the law in its relation to blacks. That is to say that where blacks were taken out and subjected to the barbarity of lynch mobs, they're now legitimately taken into the courtroom, and the same end is achieved.
So I think that this is more important than any effort on my part to analyze it. Simply say to whites who are concerned about the direction in which America is headed, that there is yet little time, that something has got to give, something in a very, very, very positive way has got to come about, or else America will not be America in the sense that white people like to feel secure in thinking about America.
Jordan River, who gon' help me to cross? Jordan River, who gon' help me to cross? Jordan River, who gon' help me to cross? Oh Lord, one more river, one more river to cross. Mother, she'll be waiting. She can't help me to cross. Oh, mother, she'll be waiting. She can't help me to cross. Oh, mother will be waiting. Oh Lord, she can't help me to cross. Oh Lord, one more river, one more river to cross. Father, he'll be waiting. He can't help me to cross. Oh Lord, Father, he'll be waiting. He can't help me to cross. Father will be waiting. Oh Lord, he can't help me to cross. Yes, Lord, one more river, one more river to cross. Jesus will be standing. He will help me to cross. Oh Lord, Jesus will be standing. He will help me to cross.